All right, our jurors have returned to the courtroom. Mr. Durst is present with his lawyers. Mr. Lewin and his team are all present. Our witness, Mr. Thomas Durst, has resumed the witness stand. Mr. Durst, I'll remind you that you're under oath. You may resume your direct examination.
Mr. Durst, I apologize. I didn't ask you about a few exhibits here. 19A, is that a picture of your brother Bob Durst from his high school yearbook?
Yes, that's Robert.
19C, is that also a picture of your brother Robert Durst?
Yes.
Any idea how old he would have been here?
Not really.
Does it appear to you to be prior to him being a full-grown adult?
He looks to be about 20.
So you're marking 19C.
So I've done 19A, 19C, and I'll do 19B. I'm sorry.
Three photos, 19.
Yes, I've got a total of 5 photos, 19A through E.
Thank you.
My apologies. 19B.
Yes.
Recognize who that is.
That's Robert Durst at the Durst Organization.
And based on your knowledge and memory, how old does your brother appear to you to be?
Approximately 40.
19D. Do you recognize this photograph?
I don't recognize it, but it's Robert.
And actually, we're just going to do 19E. Is this a photograph of Mr. Durst and Debbie Cheriton?
It's Mr. Durst, and I only met the woman once, so I don't know.
Your Honor, we have a stipulation that 19E is a picture of Bob Durst and Deborah Cheriton. So stipulated, Mr. DeGarren?
You know, yeah, that's who it is. I don't see the need to stipulate, but yeah, that's who it is. I don't see the relevance either.
Okay, you stipulate or not?
I'm not going to say it's not her, Judge. It's her.
Okay.
I don't. Maybe it's because I'm not familiar with the way things go around.
The witness didn't recognize who it is, so either I have to call another witness.
That's fine. We call another
or
witness.
you can stipulate to it. It's why I asked you.
Yeah, stipulate.
It's fine.
Okay, we'll stipulate.
Thank you.
Okay, court accepts the stipulation. Thank you.
Thank you. No further questions, Your Honor.
All right. Mr. DeGarren, you may cross-examine the witness. No, I like the split screen effect. Are we going to have this all track, or is it supposed to be just for the open? Oh, because of the video. Okay. I just got this great split screen effect. Yeah, right.
Could I have my letterhead on there, Judge, instead of the DA's letterhead?
Oh, letterhead? Sure, Mr. DeGarren, no problem. If you supply it, you can project it.
Well, I've got a card.
I think he's looking product placement, Your Honor.
Hand me my hat.
That's where you take your cards, Mr. DeGarren?
Yes, sir. I always have one handy. Now we have competing letterheads.
Yeah. Your Honor, we just want to say that ours is bigger.
Okay. Oh, I like off festival. Okay, go ahead.
Something happened.
You broke it, Mr. DeCare.
Just push me.
We're not paying for it, Your Honor. Look at the level of cooperation here.
We took ours off at least.
It doesn't matter. It was a good thought. You don't like your brother very much, do you?
No, sir, I don't.
I'm not asking you why, but you and your brother and your siblings had a pretty rough childhood, didn't you?
Yes, sir.
You were only about 10 or 11 months old when your mother fell from the roof and died.
9 months and 27 days.
And what you know about that is what you've been told, not anything that you observed.
I know nothing about it.
It's true, isn't it, that Seymour became a very distant father when you were growing up?
Yes,
He rarely spent time at the house where your mother died.
correct.
He had an apartment in the city and might visit you and your siblings 1 or 2 or 3 nights a week and go back to the city, is that right?
Correct.
And from your earliest memories with living in the Katona house, did you call it the Katona house? What did you call it?
Katona, I never lived there. Bob and Douglas lived there.
Okay, I'm
I lived at 27 Hampton Road, Scarsdale.
27 Hampton Roads, and that's in Scarsdale, correct?
10583.
And that's the place where your mother died, you know.
Yes, as far as I know.
And you know that Seymour tortured your brother.
Your Honor, objection
you-
relevance without an offer of proof.
Overruled. Go
You've
ahead.
put it that way before, haven't you, in your interviews?
I have.
You know that your brother was very upset about your mother's death, don't you?
I imagine the other 3 were upset too.
Yes, but I'm talking about Bob. You know that,
I don't know him, so I don't know if he was what you're saying, but he must have been.
but you know, and you told the investigators that Bob was tortured by Seymour by not moving out of the house where he'd seen her fall off the roof.
Your Honor, relevance in 352.
Overruled.
Isn't that a fair statement?
Bob wanted to move.
There were a series of governesses that didn't stay very long. That's correct, isn't it?
One stayed 6 years, and the ones before that I was too young to know.
The last time you resided under the same roof with Bob, you were at the age of 11. Is that about right?
Correct, sir.
And that's when Bob went off to college?
Correct, sir.
You were aware that Bob had begged your father, Seymour, to move from that house, don't you?
Your objection relevance in 352 without a specific offer of proof.
You going somewhere relevant with this?
Well, it's to the, yes, it's to the relationship between Seymour and Bob and the fact that he
All
was
right.
tortured.
Your Honor, objection, it's not, the relationship between Seymour and Bob 50,
Okay.
60 years ago is not relevant.
Let's talk informally for a moment. Please come back. We'll take a short break and discuss this point.
try to constrain the universe of what we are talking about, just to try to keep it reasonably relevant to the story. So, Mr. DeGarrett, you may resume your cross-examination.
Let me just sum it up, this family dynamic, this way, about Seymour and his absence. Is it a fair statement that the family never once had a happy dinner as a group?
Yes.
You mentioned the food stamps. You're aware that Bob was a Vista, or joined Vista, aren't you?
He said he did.
Vista is Volunteers in Service to America, correct?
That's what I've understood, yeah.
And this was in the early 70s, right?
You know, I don't know.
Okay.
I wasn't there.
Are you aware that one of the programs that Vista has is having their volunteers live in poverty like the people that they're serving?
No, sir, I'm aware of nothing about this.
So you're not aware that Vista actually requires their Vista volunteers to use food stamps?
Your Honor,
Sustained.
motion
Objection
to
sustained.
strike. Can the jury be instructed?
It's a question. The jury does not treat the questions as evidence. They know that the questions of attorneys are not evidence. Only the answers are evidence. The questions may help you understand the answers, but only the answers are evidence. You may continue, Mr. DeGarrett.
You said Bob was cheap. Did you know that Bob basically supported Sarah Kaufman, giving him $20,000 and $30,000 and $40,000 at a time for several years?
That sounds like testimony, Your Honor.
Well,
did
he
you know
rendered
that?
an opinion, and he's testing the opinion overruled.
I don't know anything about the gentleman being mentioned.
You have mentioned before that in the early 70s, when you first knew Kathie, she was kind of a hippie, right? I don't know
She was
if
a
you used that
teenager
term
when I met
anymore.
her.
Let's not talk at the same time. I'm sorry, I broke into your answer, and I wanted to clarify it. What I'm asking about, have you ever said that you thought she was kind of a hippie during that time?
I may have said it. I don't remember saying it.
All right. Did you say also that later she began living the good life with Bob, driving a Mercedes and wearing lots of gold?
I did say that.
And then you would sometimes get calls from Kathie asking where Bob was.
Correct.
Sometimes the calls were late at night.
Always late at night.
And you believed by her voice that she was using some kind of drugs, didn't you?
Lacks expertise, foundation, calls for speculation, just for a few.
All right, I'll go with the sustain the foundation objection.
Well, you've seen people that use coke.
I have seen people use marijuana. I can't remember seeing people use cocaine. I saw a lot of marijuana usage.
Well, did you tell the investigators that you thought Kathie was using some kind of drug to stay up late at night?
Your Honor, that's going to call for speculation. It's also going to be hearsay. It also can't be a prior and consistent statement because he doesn't have the foundation for the opinion anyway.
Is that a speaking
I can keep
objection?
going with other objections as well, Your Honor.
Is that a speaking objection?
No, those are grounds, Mr. DeGarrett.
Okay.
And aren't
Wait,
you
I'm gonna-
supposed to
let me-
stand when you address the court?
I'm sorry, let me,
Are you standing, Mr. DeGarrett?
I am.
Oh, okay.
I'm trying to look at this. There's 5 grounds all against it. Let's think about each one. So before you ask the inconsistent statement, you must ask the witness directly. In other words, you asked whether he told an investigator, you must ask him directly that belief, which is a little bit different from the other questions.
Did you believe that Kathie was using some kind of drug?
Yes.
Objection foundation, Your Honor.
Oral.
Okay.
What was the answer, Your Honor?
You stepped on
He
it.
said yes. The answer is yes.
So yes, you did believe.
I believed it.
In fact, later, when you went to see Kathie at the 86th Street apartment, she was acting strange, wasn't she?
She was speaking in a very high-pitched voice. I had never heard that before.
And Kathie, you had spoken to on a number of occasions, so you would recognize her voice.
I did.
Would you please scoot forward a little
I'm
bit
sorry.
closer to the microphone? I want to make sure everyone can hear you. You don't have to hold, you can pull the microphone down, adjust
I'm
it
okay.
so it points at you. You don't have to move. Yeah, that's good. Go ahead. You may continue.
You thought she was on drugs then, didn't you?
It was either drugs or fear. Something was going on.
Well, the high-pitched voice that you described, earlier when you thought she was on drugs, when she would call you late at night and ask about Bob, what was it about her voice then that caused you to think that she was on drugs?
Speaking very rapidly. Speaking without stop.
Now, it's kind of common knowledge, isn't it, that one of the effects of cocaine is to cause
Objection,
somewhere.
Not to me. I don't know anything about cocaine.
Well, let me ask you. if you know
Wait a
anything
second.
about it.
The witness say, did you hear his answer? Not to me, that he didn't know. Yes. The answer may be no. That he doesn't know that.
Well, let me just explore your knowledge for a while. You've read a lot about life, haven't you?
Life, but not cocaine. I don't read about cocaine.
Or do you just intentionally avoid reading about cocaine?
There's a lot of things I avoid, but cocaine is not one of my reading subjects.
And so you haven't come across reading anything about cocaine?
The only things I read were the New York Post about Club 54 that Bob and Kathie
Studio 54.
went to.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I know about cocaine.
And what you read was that cocaine was in use at some of those clubs?
Your Honor,
Hearsay, sustained.
I'm just asking about what he said he read about.
that's double hearsay,
Yeah.
irrelevant, 352, foundation.
So, do I understand you to be telling this jury that you know nothing about cocaine?
Argumentative, lacks foundation, relevance, 352. I think I'm 4 for 4 on that one, Your Honor.
No, I'm gonna go with just a 352. You don't have to answer. Perhaps a different subject, Mr. DeCaren.
Actually, I'm not through with this subject yet.
Okay, give it a try.
So when you saw her on 86th Street, the event that you described to the jury earlier, and you said she was speaking in a high-pitched voice and speaking rapidly, you thought she was on some kind of drug.
Drug or fear?
And you gave her some money,
Indeed, I did.
about $300.
I don't know the amount. I know I gave her everything in my wallet but one bill.
Did you tell the investigators it was about $300?
I might have guessed. This is 4 years ago. I don't remember what I told the investigator.
So, I suppose you don't know what the price of cocaine on the street is, or what it was in, let's see, December of 1981.
Your Honor, seriously?
Sustained. The new objection for the...
I'm going to adopt that kind of objection. Seriously?
Seriously?
Is that what it
Yes.
I've tried the legal ones.
Right. It's...
Well, you knew about Kathie's cocaine use, didn't you?
I never saw Kathie use cocaine. I saw Kathie smoke marijuana. I saw Kathie drink wine.
But didn't you tell the investigators that you knew about her cocaine use?
I don't remember telling the investigators that.
May I approach the witness, see if I can refresh his recollection?
Why don't you ask him if it would refresh his recollection to consider the document you have?
He doesn't know what document I have, but I will ask him that. Would it refresh your recollection if I have a document from the prosecution that suggests that?
Well, as I say, I don't remember much of what I said 4 years ago. I was in a room with 4 cops with gigantic guns. I don't remember what I said.
So may I approach the witness and see if I can refresh his recollection?
If it'll save time, Your Honor, we're okay with him. He can put it on the board, he can lead him with what he said, we will not object if it will make it go faster.
You may refresh his recollection, Mr. DeCarry.
Thank you.
Or try to.
Well, let me show you what I'll have you reading from. It's a report, and it's 6 pages long, and I'm just going to show you one part of it that I want to ask you to read to yourself. That's what I've underlined right here. Don't read it out loud.
And simply tell us if it refreshes.
When was
your
this
recol-
written?
Wait, don't, so Mr. Durst, read that to yourself and tell us if that refreshes your recollection of anything like that.
The date's here.
So I don't know what happened with Kathie and cocaine. I never saw it. Maybe
Now,
I was
my first question is, does this refresh your recollection as to what you told the investigators?
Oh, yes, it does.
And, okay, so you did tell the investigators about, that you knew something about Kathie's cocaine use, right?
I guess I did. I don't remember.
You may scoot forward a little bit, just so that you're near to the microphone.
Oh, I'm sorry, I'll figure it out. And that was in late 1981, right?
It would have been 1981, late 1981. But I didn't see it in late 1981.
Didn't ask you that. What your knowledge was in late 1981, and you told that to the investigators in July of 2016, when they came to see you in San Francisco.
During the Obama administration.
Well, I didn't ask you that either, but thanks for reminding us. That's all I have.
No questions.
May the witness be excused.
Yes, Your Honor, thank you.
Mr. Chairman, may I excuse this witness?
Of course.
You're excused, sir. Thank you. Mr. Balian, will the people be playing a video at this time?
Yes, so pursuant to stipulation of the parties, the people will call James Varian through videotape.
You may proceed.
Your Honor, can I mark this as an exhibit, People's 20? We can decide later what to do with it. Yeah, CD?
So it's People's 20. Is there also a transcript?
Yes, so if the initial examination video can be People's 20, the transcript can be People's 20A. It's been redacted. redacted pursuant to stipulation and the court's approval.
This is, it's James Varian?
Yes.
V-A-R-I-A-N.
Yes. And I have a copy for the court as well. And then I have a written stipulation that we have created. The defense has reviewed it this morning. And we intend to do this with each of these videos. I want to see how the court wants to proceed. In the record, this is what I would proffer as a stipulation.
Is this different from the one the court already accepted regarding this testimony?
Yes.
Oh, very well.
In the recorded testimony of James Varian presented to the jury, there were exhibits referenced. Duplicates of those exhibits will be marked and now have new exhibit numbers for purposes of this jury trial. The following is a complete list of the reference exhibits by their original exhibit number on the left-hand side column, and a description of the exhibits in the middle, as well as the new exhibit number for this trial assigned for this jury trial. When we would do that for each witness, we would literally list the exhibit numbers that are in the conditional examination, and we would assign each of those exhibits a new exhibit number and put it on this document for each conditional examination.
All right.
So
Does it make sense, Robin?
Yes.
So we'll be numbering those exhibits at the conclusion of the tape, I guess?
yes.
And so court accepts your stipulation. You may play the video. Do you know how many minutes?
30 minutes.
Okay, you may proceed.
And, Your Honor,
Yes.
this written stipulation for each one, may I mark this, I guess, as People's 20B? Does that make sense?
I think so. What do you think, Robin? Yes, 20B.
And may I mark this as stipulation number 1? Even though we've had other stipulations, these will be formal written stipulations that go in as exhibits. May I mark this as stipulation number 1?
Do we need to keep separate track of stipulations as opposed to exhibits? Because it's 20B, so if we're giving an exhibit numbers, we're calling it 20B. 20B happens to be a stipulation. We need to know the numbers of stipulations. As an exhibit 20B, but do we also want to keep track of it as a stipulation number 1, or can we just call it 20B? You can keep track of it for yourself.
Okay,
but-
we'll just call it 20B.
Right.
And when we have future stipulations, they'll go in as the current exhibit number.
I think that's simpler.
Okay, yes, thank you. All right, so, and then we have, I guess we don't have to do it right now, but at some point we have prepared a stipulation as to an instruction for the court to read the jury as to how they should treat these videos with respect to there being the same as live testimony.
Very well. You have 30 minutes, and
Yes,
we
we'll
have
play.
that iron rule of leaving
Yes,
at
let's
4:30,
start.
so you ought to roll the tape.
Okay, thank you. People will play the conditional examination video of Detective James Varian. And you provide a transfer for the court.
Yes.
Very well. Please swear the witness.
I solemnly state that the testimony about to give on the counsel taken before this court will be the truth and the whole truth and nothing but the truth.
I do.
Please be seated.
You might need to adjust it again. Robin's voice wasn't
Please
quite
state and
audible.
spell your first and last name.
James Varian,
That's okay.
James Varian.
Thank you.
Merci.
Mr. Varian, can you tell us how old are you?
78. May 10th. I'll be 78. I'm 77 right now.
Do you really want to be making it any bigger than it is? You can still say 77 for another month. All right, and Mr. Varian, can you tell us what is your current occupation today?
I'm retired.
Can you tell us where you retired from?
New York City Police Department.
Do you recall when you started as a New York City police officer?
December 11th, 1962.
And prior to joining the police department, you go through an academy and some training?
Yes, I did.
And do you recall when you ended up formally retiring from the New York City Police Department?
October 26th, 1982.
So you were a police officer for roughly 20 years?
Yes.
I'm not going to go through your original assignments, but is it fair to say that You started off and went through patrol and had the kind of normal assignments that a police officer would have.
Yes.
Do you recall at some point were you assigned to detectives?
I became a detective in 1968.
And when you made detective, do you recall what you were working in, what areas?
I was at that point up to the south.
And you were in the South Bronx, does that simply mean that you were at kind of a general table and you worked everything that came in?
It was a precinct detective in the 4-2 squad.
And at a certain point in time, did you end up going to homicide?
Yes, I did.
Do you remember about what year that was?
1977, I believe.
And is that an estimate in terms of the date?
Yes.
Do you recall, sometime in the early 80s, prior to January of 1982, were you injured in an automobile accident? Did you go off work?
Yes, I did. January 4th, 1980.
And in that accident, that ended up causing you to eventually retire?
Yes.
Prior to retiring, did you end up returning back to duty in January of 1982?
Yes, I was.
And do you recall at that time where you were assigned?
Manhattan Detective Task Force.
And can you tell me, when you say Manhattan Detective Task Force, what does that mean?
Our office investigated homicide, kidnapping, extortion, major cases.
And would those be, the NYPD, am I correct, covers all 5 boroughs?
Yes.
When you worked Manhattan homicide, would that mean that you were only working cases in Manhattan, or did you work other boroughs as well?
Just Manhattan.
Do you recall where you were assigned out of?
The 13th precinct.
And during your time that you worked homicides in total, about how many homicides do you think you worked on?
Between 25 and 30.
When I say the name Robert Durst, the names Robert Durst and Kathie Durst, are those names that you remember?
From that period, no.
Are those names you are aware of now?
Yes.
And in going back and thinking about what you remember, I'm talking about from your memory, not what you might have read or heard, but do you remember having some initial involvement in a missing person investigation involving Kathie Durst?
Yes, I do.
And do you remember what your role was at that time?
I was asked to interview the neighbors of Kathie Durst and Robert Durst on Riverside Drive.
And was that pursuant to a missing persons report?
Yes, it was.
And would that have been at 37 Riverside Drive in New York City in Manhattan?
Yes.
At that time, when I say the name of Detective O'Sullivan, can you tell me who that is?
He was my partner.
And currently, do you know what Detective O'Sullivan's condition is?
He suffered from all kinds.
And are you aware as to whether or not, for instance, he is able to travel and to testify?
In my opinion, no.
Have you had contact with him?
He doesn't recognize me when I see him.
Do you remember who the lead detective was on the missing persons case involving Kathie Durst?
Michael Struck,
Is that S-T-R-U-K?
I believe so.
Now, you've had a chance to go through the prior reports that you and your partner, Detective O'Sullivan, wrote with respect to these missing persons investigation. Is that correct?
Yes.
And if I were to ask you, right now as you sit here, do you have a full and complete memory of everything you did on the Durst case? What would you say?
A complete memory, no.
And do you have a full and complete memory of the specifics of what each witness you talked to told you about the Durst case?
No.
You've had a chance to review some type reports, is that correct?
Yes.
There was a February 10th, 1982 report that had that talked about doing a canvass of neighbors at 37 Riverside Drive, is that correct?
Yes.
And you previously were shown the report. We're going to mark this People 7, Your Honor.
Yes.
At the bottom of People April 7th.
That's my signature on the bottom of it.
Well, and it's on the bottom left of the piece of paper, is that correct?
Yeah.
Did you recognize the signature on the right?
Lieutenant Gibbons,
And was that the lieutenant at the time who was handling it?
he was my commanding officer in my unit, yeah.
And your signature on that report, what does that mean?
Then I typed the report up, and what I put in the report is the fact.
Okay, you've also been shown a February 10th, 1982 report of a witness named Philip Marrero that we would mark as People's Aid. Do you recall being shown that?
I recall that, yes.
Yeah, this is a 2-page report, and on his report, which the defense has nicely stipulated, we're not going to be showing you, there are signatures on both pages. That's your signature where it says James Varian, correct? You've shown that previously?
Yes.
I've been outvoted, Your Honor. So we're gonna-
That's my signature.
And second page as well,
He's looking at People's Aid.
page 1, and People's Aid, page 2.
That's my signature.
And then finally, People's 9. This is going to be, People's Aid, I'm sorry, was a report of an interview that was done with Kevin and Andrew. So I said 8 was an interview with Marrero, it should have been 8 was Kevin. So let me be clear.
Can you please reiterate for
So 7 is going to be the canvass of the neighbors. 8 is going to be the interview with the Doyles. 9 is going to be the interview with Philip Marrero. And that's going to be 1L, 1P, M-A-R-R-E-R-O. And you've been shown People's 9 as well, as you recognize your signature there.
That's Donald Sullivan's signature.
And, I'm sorry, Donald Sullivan, you recognize that signature?
Yes.
And that was your partner, is that correct?
Yes.
And these 3 reports that I've shown you, they are all dated or took place on February 10th, 1982, is that correct?
Yeah.
And having reviewed it, it's your memory that your work on this case, in terms of contacting witnesses, took place all on that day of February 10th, 1982.
Yes.
And I want to talk for a second about the reports and how they work. Pursuant to NYPD policy at the time that you worked, when you did work on a case or interviewed a witness, which you documented in your report.
Did I document,
Well, let me ask the question again. At that time, you were working for the NYPD in 1982. Were you trained when you did work on a case or interviewed a witness to document what you did in your report?
I took notes during the interview of the people that we talked to.
And then would you later make a report from those?
I would transcribe the report into a DD5 or appropriate report.
And would you then review those reports for accuracy?
Yes, I would.
And the reports that you have read, you had a chance to look at all 3 of these reports, 7
Yes.
and 9, correct?
Yes.
Is it fair to say that you do not remember all the details in each report?
That's correct.
Your Honor, at this time, pursuant to Evidence Code Section 1237, past recollection recorded, we're going to have the witness read these reports into the house.
Right?
May I approach?
Yeah. You can put them on the screen also if you wish, and you can take them off the screen.
Your Honor, it's going to be easy for you to read off this right.
That's fine, as you wish.
Thank you.
So you can start at the top.
Mrs. Person, breaking point, the date of this report is blank. Investigation of missing persons, Kathie Durst, 37 Riverside Drive. Subject, interview people at 37 Riverside Drive. The undersigned accompanied by Detective Donald Sullivan, DBM TF, did respond to the above location and did speak with the people, the below listed persons who reside in the above building. 10B, Joel and Lucille Gore. 10A, no answer. 11B, Helen Elderman. 15A, Charlotte Remark. 15B, no answer. The above persons could not aid any information listed to this investigation. Case active. Signed, James T. Varian, EBMTF.
Member of the Your Honor?
Yes.
Henry was previously marked as People's Aid. Can you again read through, please? Go ahead.
Missing person, 20th precinct, 21082. Reporting unit, EBMTF. Complainant's name, Durst, K. Investigation, missing person, Kathie Durst, 37 Riverside Drive. Subject, interview, Kevin and Ann Boyle, 37 Riverside Drive. On 21082, the undersigned, accompanied by Detective Donald O'Sullivan, DBMTF, did respond to the above location and did interview Mr. and Mrs. Doyle.
Let me stop you for a second. What is DBMTF? Is that Detective Bureau Manhattan Task Force?
Detective Bureau Manhattan Task Force.
All right, please continue.
They live in apartment 17B penthouse across the hall from the Durst. They both knew the Durst and had them in their apartment on 2 occasions. Mrs. Durst had been in the apartment numerous times to speak with both Ann and Kevin Doyle. See attached, U.S. 50 case active, signed on the bottom, James T. Varian.
And you said, when you were reading, you said apartment 17B. Does it say 17B or 16B?
16B.
We're taking a point off from you.
I'm sorry.
It's only one though, you're still doing well. Can you explain when you say see attached UF 50, what does that mean?
Uniform form number 50.
And when you look at the second page, this document, is that the UF 50?
Yes.
Can you please read that as well?
Missing persons report. Interview of Ann and Kevin Doyle. 37 Riverside Drive, apartment 16B. Phone number 243-7058. On 21082, the undersigned, accompanied by Detective Donald O'Sullivan, EBMTF, did respond to the above location and did interview Mr. and Mrs. Doyle. They stated that they know the Durst for about 1 year. Mrs. Durst would visit with either Ann or Kevin, whoever was home at the time. She would just want to sit and have someone to talk to. Ann stated that sometime during the latter part of September or the beginning of October, Catherine did leave her apartment via the bedroom window in her PJs and walked around the outside balcony to Ann's bedroom window and was crying. Ann let her in, and Catherine stated that Bob had beat her and that he wanted to kill her. She further stated that he had a gun and was afraid of being shot. Catherine stated that Bob wanted her to sign a disclaimer clause so that she would relinquish any monies or property. She was afraid to sit in any room which had a window, thus she spent 2 hours sitting in the bathroom. During this time, Kevin came home, and both he and his wife did calm it down. Kevin did go to the Durst apartment and he talked to Bob. Bob stated that he was not mad and that she should go home. He did not admit to beating her. Signed, Inspector James T. Varian, 2976.
Now, Detective, if I were to ask you, as you sit here today, do you have any memory of at all, any memory of interviewing Mr. Marrero
No,
As you sit here today, do you have any specific memory of talking to any of the neighbors or attempting to talk to them, other than the Doyles?
no,
If I were to ask you, do you have a specific memory as you sit here today of speaking to Ann Doyle or Ann Anderson Doyle? Do you have any memory of that?
yes, I do.
Can you tell me what you remember?
The statement that the woman had climbed out the bedroom window in her PJs, walked around a parapet, and came back into the bedroom window of the other apartment. I remember that being said.
And let me ask you, in the 20 years you worked as a New York police officer, had you ever taken a statement from a witness who had said that someone had pounded on their window from the roof to get in the middle of a rainstorm?
This is the only one.
And in addition, in your report, you indicated a couple of things. The approach. I just heard that. You stated that Ann said she let her in, and Catherine stated that Bob had beat her.
Yes,
Would you have put that language into your report if it had not been what Ann had specifically told you?
no,
You also wrote in that same report that Kathie said Bob had beat her and that he wants to kill her. The clause wants to kill her. Was that something that Ann told you Kathie had said?
that's what Mrs. Doyle told me, yes.
And again, with respect to putting that statement in, is that something that you would have been careful to document, to go over with Ann Doyle before you put it in your report?
Yes,
You had a statement that further said, this is quoting to the court, she further stated that he had a gun. Do you recall, as you sit here today, do you actually remember Ann telling you that Kathie had told her that her husband had a gun?
no, I don't remember that.
But let me ask you something, in terms of putting it in your report,
That's what she told me at the time.
and how careful would you have been to make sure that that is what Ann Doyle was communicating to Kathie? The fact that you had a witness telling you that a woman in the next apartment had come in there saying that her husband had beaten her and threatened her, wants to kill her, and threatened her with a gun. How certain are you that those statements came directly from Ann Doyle, or not simply your interpretation?
When I do conduct an interview, I have notes, and from those notes, I go back to my office and I type up the report based on the notes that I have. Once I type the report up, the notes are destroyed, and the report is then the record of what that interview was.
How important did you find the statement?
That would be a major part of my interview with the Doyles.
Now, Detective, after doing that investigation, those contacts on February 10th, 1982, do you remember if you had any further involvement in this case?
I had no further involvement.
And the way that things worked in Manhattan with the task force you were on, was that typical or was that unusual?
No, that was typical. What the job of the task force was to aid precinct detectives in major cases or homicide, bank robbery, kidnapping, extortion, and we would go out and assist them for a day or two, and then we would come back to our office and go someplace else.
Did you write this when the statements were still fresh in your mind? Did you record this when it was fresh in your mind? The statements that you...
It was written the same day I did the interview.
And it was fresh in your mind?
Yes.
All right.
Detective, I'm just going to ask you, I'm pointing to the defendant. Have you ever met the defendant?
No.
ever even seen him in person other than today?
On television.
Thank you, no further questions.
All right, now, cross-examine.
Detective Barry, my name is Dick Garrett, and I'm one of the lawyers representing Robert Durst.
Yes, sir.
I want to ask you a couple of questions about the reports that you just read. I understand from your testimony that if you didn't have those reports in front of you, you would not be able to testify from your own memory. Is that correct?
I do remember the interview with Ann and Kevin Doyle, a portion of it. The other interviews I do not remember.
Okay, so even with the documents before you, you do not have an independent recollection of those that set aside the Doyle and Doyle interview.
That's correct.
Okay. And even as to the Ann Doyle interview, you do not have a recollection about a gun, do you?
No, sir.
All right. And the prosecutor phrased something that I didn't hear come from you. He said, did you ever in your career have a woman who told you that there'd been a pounding on a window during a rainstorm? I didn't see that in the report. Is it in the report?
No, sir.
Do you have any kind of recollection about that?
No, sir.
Okay, so that just was what the prosecutor was suggesting, the pounding on the window in a rainstorm.
It was his suggestion, I guess. Yes.
And that's just,
The window, I do recollect the woman came in through the bedroom window.
okay. Now, do you recall that Ann Doyle told you that in the past they had to deal with Kathie Durst when she seemed somewhat confused or upset? Do you recall any of that?
No, sir.
Do you recall that Ann Doyle told you that she and her husband calmed Kathie Durst down?
Yes.
Okay. And now...
That was part of my report.
Right. And then you and O'Sullivan went next door. Was that right?
Went next door.
I'm sorry. Ms. Doyle told you that her husband went next door and talked to Kathie Durst.
The night of that incident, yes.
Right. And do you recall that they said, that Mr. Durst said that there was nothing wrong?
In my report, yes.
Okay. And you recall that they did say they were able to calm Kathie down?
Yes.
And that Mr. Durst said nothing happened?
Yeah.
All right.
No, he said he wasn't mad. He didn't say nothing happened.
Okay. Said he wasn't mad, she should come home, and he did not admit to hitting her.
Right.
Okay. Now, let me ask you some questions about your practices back then. As a homicide detective, you had available to you the reports of other homicide detectives, didn't you?
If I requested them,
Right. In fact, one of the reasons for writing reports is that so another detective can get your report and act on it.
yes.
And that's why you want to be accurate in your report.
Yes.
So during the investigation, was there a period of time after which you were no longer involved in the investigation?
the end of that day, I was no longer involved. I was only there one day.
Was, and that day was the 10th.
The 10th of February, yes.
In order to conduct your investigation, you were asked to do so by your commanding officer, is that right?
Yes, a supervisor.
A supervisor, okay. Now, Detective Struck was not your supervisor, was he?
No,
But he was a detective like
he
you.
was the lead detective on this case.
Okay. And wanting to do a thorough job, you would have reviewed the previous reports, wouldn't you?
No,
Why not?
I was asked to interview the neighbors as to, for Captain Durst, the last time they seen her, and what kind of person she was.
What you did was an investigation into a missing person, correct?
I was not the lead detective, but it was a missing persons case, yes.
Right. And so you would want to know, wouldn't you, whatever information you were looking for, you would want to know what kind of information you were looking for, wouldn't you?
What type of person, when was the last time she was seen?
Right? And you would want to know whether she was seen with anybody else, wouldn't you?
Well, that's why I was interviewing the neighbors.
Right? And you would want to know under what circumstances she was seen with someone else. Correct?
If I found a neighbor that had seen her, yes.
Okay, and you found the neighbor, Mr. and Mrs.
Doyle,
Doyle, although Mrs. Doyle went by her maiden name, didn't she, Anderson?
I didn't know that.
Okay. She was a young lady, wasn't she?
I'm sorry?
She was very young at the time you interviewed her.
I believe she was late 30s, early 40s. I believe.
Okay. Well, anyway, wouldn't you want to know what to ask her about? Here's what I'm getting at. To be a detective, you have to know what kind of questions to ask, don't you?
Yes.
You have to know a little bit about the case so you can ask pertinent questions, correct?
The supervisor who sent me there, and I don't remember who it was, most likely briefed me on the case and told me to go and interview the neighbors. I do not have a recollection of that briefing. I do not have any notes on that briefing.
You continue to be a detective assigned to the Manhattan
Yes.
Task Force, correct?
Yes.
Were you generally aware that the Manhattan Task Force continued to investigate this case?
Probably they did. If I didn't.
Were you aware of any of the publicity that surrounded the case?
No.
You didn't read the newspapers? Or do you have a recollection?
I have no recollection of that. No.
You read the Post, the Daily News, or the Times?
I had the Daily Mirror at that time and the Daily News.
Okay. In addition to the Post?
No, the Post wasn't one of my favorite.
Okay. At any rate, did you follow the case at all?
No.
Did you follow it within the Detective Bureau?
No.
Mr. Wilson? Nothing further, Your Honor.
All right, then, any objection to my excusing this witness at this time?
Very well. Yeah. 789 marked for identification.
Yeah, mark for identification. Thank you, sir. You're excused.
Your Honor, very quickly for the record.
We could do the exhibits. We do the exhibits in the morning.
Okay.
I need to excuse these
Sure.
jurors. I want to chat with juror number 6. And ladies and gentlemen, we'll try our best to start tomorrow at 9. If you can all be here at 9, we will start at 9. Do not converse among yourselves or with anyone else on any subject connected with this case. Do not form or express any opinion on the case. We'll see you then.